10 o'clock. It's the 18th day of March 2022. It's 60 degrees and sunny here in Ventura, California. It's March Madness and the beginning of spring training. So let's go UCLA and let's go Cubs. It's Friday, which means it's time for this week's editorial. And this week's editorial is, what if? What if? One little question that can offer a whole infinite possibilities. So earlier this week, I posted a what if theory crafting video on what I would like to see Wizards of the Coast do with Dungeons and Dragons between now and 2025. And I received a lot more negative responses than I thought I would. Apparently, a lot of people are still very angry at Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro and their choices that they are making for Dungeons and Dragons. A lot of people are still angry at me because I talk about Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro and Dungeons and Dragons on this vlog. And sometimes I am known to defend Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast and the choices that they make, even though I've made it perfectly clear on multiple occasions that I do not approve of the political direction that Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro has gone. But I do understand why they made the choices that they have made. From my point of view, a lot of those choices are awful, but they make sense. I was also told I was part of the problem and that I should basically kill myself because I said things like, well, you know what? Hasbro can do whatever they want with Dungeons and Dragons because they own it. And again, I'm sorry if this upsets every one of you. I know that a lot of you are upset because Wizards of the Coast changed something you love and took something that you were very passionate about away from you. Having recently had that happen to me and having had that happen to me on multiple occasions, I can understand that anger. I can understand and sympathize that they took something that you thought was yours away from you and changed it because, well, money. Yeah, I understand that, but I also understand why they did it. I don't have to like it. I don't have to approve of the way they did it, but I understand, bottom line, money. And if you're not happy with the choices Wizards of the Coast made, threatening me is not going to change the choices Wizards of the Coast made because Wizards of the Coast does not care about you. And the only reason they might care about me is because I hold some Hasbro stock. Yes, because I bought Hasbro stock so I could vote about the things that they were doing and hopefully with my votes change them. I've written letters to Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast. I've sent emails. I've talked to people on the phone. I've posted videos. I've been on vlogs. I've been on Discords. I have tried to have conversations about my issues with their choices. And I don't buy Wizards of the Coast product anymore. The only reason I have anything to do with 5th edition is because I want my friendly local game store, Dream World Collectibles here in Ventura, California, to be successful. And the best way to foster a tabletop role-playing game community is to at least acknowledge 5th edition and run introduction to 5th edition games because that's what's in the public eye right now. And then, of course, use that as a venue to introduce them to other better games. But if I'm a tabletop role-playing game, friendly local game store, comic book shop, newsstand, I want to remain competitive, especially since I've got 3 other stores doing the exact same thing in the exact same town. And one of the best ways I can be competitive is to support 5e because that's what's going to bring people in the door. Again, sorry, but you know what? It's about money. So speaking of money and speaking of theory crafting, my previous theory crafting was what I thought I want Wizards of the Coast to do. It's not what I think they're going to do. It's not like I have any say in the matter. My one vote doesn't really change anything. But it was what I would like to see them do. Now, what do I think they will really do? More of the same. Whatever the next 4 books for 2022 are, it's going to be more of the same. Anything you think they're hinting at is probably lies. They've lied before repeatedly over the past 4 or 5 years because, the Tobey Maguire syndrome. People are leaking shit, so they lie because they want to control the narrative. I don't think we're going to see any drastic changes. I think we've seen the way they want shit to look right now. I don't foresee Wizards of the Coast drastically altering anything before 2024. What we're going to see in 2024 is probably just a revision, companion 5.51 version of what we already have, just taking everything and sort of cobbling it together to present sort of a general reintroduction / how we've changed things and how, backwards compatible all the 5e stuff previous to Tasha's, all the 5e post Tasha's, all the 5e stuff previous Mordecaians, all the 5e post Mordecaians, because post Tasha we had a huge drastic change, and post Mordecaians we have another huge drastic change. So the best way to do would be to combobble all those together, and then present source books / guides / player's handbook 5.5. They don't really need to do another monster manual since Mordecaians just came out, but they could do an expansion to Mordecaians. Remember when they did the 3-ring binder monster manual? That was brilliant. They should really do that again. They could do that. Now they're saying that these are all going to be physical products, whatever it is they do between now and 2025, but they're also saying they want to go more digital between now and 2025. So we will probably see physical product, but a huge percentage of that physical product is going to be the high-end stuff. We won't just see a player's handbook. We'll see like what we saw with Mordecaians, this $100 plus combination of 2 or 3 things with a GM screen and a couple other bells and whistles and new art and whatever else, because they need to make the money back to justify printing, because printing is expensive right now, and paper is a threatened species. Trees are running out, so it's more expensive to print things out. And plus, there's the whole shipping issue. So a lot of the companies are going to want to print in the country they're in, as opposed to get product printed in where it's cheaper and then ship it, because they shipped it out of Korea / China / Japan now. Lord knows when we'd see it. So, there will still be physical stuff. It'll be more expensive. There will be a general slow transition to digital. I doubt they're going to make their own virtual tabletop because it's not cost effective for Wizards of the Coast to make their own virtual tabletop. It's more cost effective to allow other companies to make virtual tabletop that support Wizards of the Coast product. Why is that? Because then Wizards of the Coast doesn't have to pay anyone to do program design. Another company's doing that. That company, in return, has to pay Wizards of the Coast to continue to use the Dungeons & Dragons license. So that's, pure profit in Wizards of the Coast's pocket. And if anything goes wrong with the virtual tabletops, it's not Wizards of the Coast's fault. It's virtual tabletop fault. So, I don't see them making a digital virtual tabletop. It's just not cost effective. But it is cost effective to switch over to more digital products. So that's probably what we're going to see. I know that there was likely going to see, but it's probably going to see. I do think they're going to change the name. I do think they're going to drop the 5th edition. I do think they're just going to call it Dungeons & Dragons going forward. Because I don't think anybody cares anymore, really. If it's the 5th edition, the 12th edition, the 27th edition. Mom and pop D&D fan, why is this the 5th? I don't know what that means. How is this different than the 4th? I don't care. This is what's available. This is what I want to play. If I'm really interested in the other ones, maybe I'll look into them. But Wizards of the Coast really doesn't want to acknowledge their history. And your general, casual gamer probably doesn't care. And I don't think people really care about, edition shit. And it's not money making for them. Because again, everything boils down to money. Sorry, it does. I know you don't want to hear that, but it does. And Wizards of the Coast needs to make profit for Hasbro. And right now, they are directing their product towards the target audience that they think that's going to make them the most profit. Is that target audience 5e players? Well, have you spoken to a 5e player in the past year? Because no, really, it's not. I've spoken to over a dozen 5e players since New Year's. And of that dozen, every one of them are like, I do not like the direction Wizards of the Coast is taking Dungeons & Dragons. It's not for me. And they're showing interest in other games. And they're showing interest in previous editions, and they're showing interest in other ways to do Dungeons & Dragons. There's a reason, ladies and gentlemen, why Pathfinder jumped up to number 2 in sales from this time last year, where it was number 4 or 5. That's a huge percentage of people abandoning Dungeons & Dragons to start playing Pathfinder in order for that huge of a jump. There's a reason. Okay? You don't have to listen to my blobbering because the facts are there. D&D sales are down. The sales of other games are up. So, as long as Wizards of the Coast is making money off of the target audience, whoever that target audience is, and that target audience is the people who are going to buy the super duper deluxe $300 book sets because, well, that's what they're putting out on the market and that's what, they think people want. So unless that target audience changes, unless there's more of a max exodus of people buying 5e, between now and 2025, more of the same, more of the backwards compatible, more of the trying to just appease as many woke people as possible while continuing to, of course, disenfranchise themselves from the actual purchasing audience and, of course, continuing to widen the gap between nostalgia, legacy OG players like myself and the 5e players, and then widening the gap between the 5e players and the Twitter woke Genie D idiot squad. So that's probably what will happen, not what I want to happen. What I want to happen is one thing. What will happen, based upon everything we've seen them do over this last year, yeah, I don't see any drastic changes. Whatever they're going to do in 2024 would just be some type of mass morphed accumulation of stuff we've already seen into reintroduction. And again, I think they're going to drop the 5th edition and just call it D&D, but I could be wrong. So yeah, now in there, of course, we have the what the fuck is Critical Role gonna do? And that's the topic of a whole separate vlog, but I still stick to my guns. I do believe Critical Role is gonna make their own game between now and 2024. And it is going to be a very viable contender for that 5e market. And I do believe that there will be a virtual tabletop streaming exclusive cable YouTube thingy, similar to like Crackle and Peacock and Hulu. And Critical Role will probably have a huge part in it because they're just, they're industry people. And that's what they do. So yeah, those are what it is. So yeah, look, I understand you're angry, but yelling at me, threatening me, calling me names, telling me I'm an idiot, telling me I'm wrong, isn't going to change anything that Wizards of the Coast / Hasbro does. I know what it feels like to have a dream taken away from you. I know what it feels like to have something you are passionate about and dedicated to and absolutely love ripped out from underneath your feet without any warning and any control. That's recently happened to me in the past month. It's happened to me several times in my life. I get it. Very few people understand that anger the way I do. And I think very few people understand why I get what Wizards of the Coast is doing. You don't have to like it, because I don't. Let me make that perfectly clear again. I don't like the choices Wizards of the Coast has made. I don't like the things they say about people like us. I don't like the fact that they are feeding into this cultural war. But I understand why they're doing it. And that is because of money. I'm the OGGM. That was today's editorial. If you appreciate the words that are coming out of my mouth, let me know. If you don't appreciate the words that are coming out of my mouth and think I'm an idiot, let me know. If you think I should go kill myself, you should probably go fuck yourself. Till next time, in the immortal words of my great-grandfather, get out my fucking land, you damn kids. See you next week.